And welcome back to Tomb Raider Anniversary. And funny thing, when you start new level, you can still go back to the old level. So the game is basically these sections I did mention before earlier. They are organically connected without any direct. Well, there is clear physical path from one level to the other. Meaning that this whole huge Greek levels, or all these Greek levels, are just basically one very long level, which is, I find, quite nice design. As much as gameplay is, as much as you could say coherency of the setting is concerned. Maybe not necessarily best for the gameplay, and even the original did play some kind of it did try to make illusion of locations being flowing into each other without seamlessly, which I find to be really good. So Colosseum, although that's a Roman term, and usually you would say that that's not even exactly completely Roman term. It would be much more of a, you could say, alright, there's one path, there's another path. Well, let's just swim up, get in here, and swim down over here. Alright, there's a air pocket in here. So just swinging up in here. Not much of a, you could say, complex structure, and even the enemies are basically just of that. But that's a big and ill-tempered rat. And that kind of rats are not really of that kind you want to deal with. Alright, so, well, I can jump on this one, and then I can jump on the, oh, I can jump in here. Where does that lead? Well, let's just check that first. Up. And I still say that the design choice to add I don't think any berries, but some sort of wet color texture or color change after swimming it's a real neat design choice, as in it really shows the rough and tumble level of action that Laura has to go through in this. Although I would say that the later Tomb Raider games, after Squaresoft started either was it making or publishing, most likely both, were much heavier in that line of, you could say, rough and tumble style. Well, but there's a ramp, most likely dirt may be collapsed. These locations are still very pristine to their age. And gorillas. Yeah, let's add some killer gorillas to the stage. How in hell Greek Colosseum would have gorillas in it is completely unknown. Because gorillas are from Africa. They are not even nearly native to Greek. I think that only native monkeys are from in Gibraltar, and they are not any big monkeys. They are not apes, especially great apes like gorillas. Although I would say that all the four species of ape are more than capable of mauling person to death. But Colosseum is I would say it is much more straightforward stage, at least when compared to the St. Francis's Folly. As in, it's much more about finding your way forward without much of, you could say, clear and distinct puzzle to solve. But it still can have some of its own trickeries and intricacies regarding level design. And I would personally say that it's not a bad thing that you have level has interesting. Oh damn! That was a dumb move. Should have jumped, but luckily, just a few seconds of delay from that little mistake. Oh, I can jump from here and again my bad. But the camera does kind of annoying, some kind of, you could say, jitter whenever there's matter of going forward. And a big lever. And that makes a big, loud, grand music. Of course, it's implying that, yep, some sort of vicious animal critter has shown up. So let's just jump to this side of the Coliseum to see what's going on. Of course, I would say that combat encounters in this game, despite being quite commonplace, are not the main emphasis. At least at this phase of the game. At the later phase, which is to say the final stages, are much, you could say, heavier in action sequences than, you could say, alright, there it goes. Well, let's now that gorilla went out of existence. Oh, bit of mistiming. Yeah, all the critters are dead. Using a shotgun. And I would say that the shotgun has the very video gamey problem of being extremely short-ranged. Even those, you could say, the firefights in video games in general tend to happen, well, depending on weapons, you could say that the, well, assault rifle is basically a service rifle. It's something that depends on the military and rifle itself. Could be expected to, soldier is expected to deliver accurate fire to about 150 meters. And I don't think many video game stages are even close to that. Well, they are that large. Okay. Oh yeah. I think that's, yeah, that was the solution. Simple as what? And in this room there's nothing really in it, so it's time to make something visually counterintuitive and, although gameplay wise very intuitive, to push the block up the ramp. And that heavy fallen wooden block is something that there really should not be a way to push it over that, you could say, clear edge of the ramp, because of the, you could say, very clear and stiff edge over there. So it would not be, you could say, plausible to just So let's just make use of the rope pull. I feel that this is faster method than the pushing and pulling the box into proper location. But now I got the balcony key. Very necessary item, of course, because this game doesn't include things like shooting open locks or breaking them. And another. And how in hell did these two female felines show up? Of course, they might not have been particularly friendly about finding a human on their turf, but still, all the animals in these games are very, or you could say, mindlessly aggressive. Which is quite... well, that's what the, you could say, most likely subconscious tribute and reference to previous genres of these kind of action films and novels of these kind of exotic locations lead to, meaning that yeah, all the animals, despite not there really being a, you could say, real reason for them to be so aggressive, are insanely aggressive, as in they would always attack humans and ignore things like, hey, I just eat, or they just ran away. They would always be something that, yep, they're gonna start violently chasing humans immediately, no matter how sane they would be, or better say how pointless it would be, just to maintain drama. But doesn't really matter. I think Peter Jackson's King Kong has the most egregious example of it, with the tyrannosaur thing in it, just attacking right away humans right away, no matter how pointless it is. But that one takes a... Now this is a little bit of a tricky. It's a multi-level, you could say, swing challenge, action challenge, and there's a artifact over there hidden, so it would be time to make a jump over there. And interestingly enough, usually these artifact puzzles would be something like unnecessary or not mandatory, but in this case it very much was that you have to come this way to get further in the stage, and because of that, and getting the artifact does not have any kind of effect on your level progress, as in you can just grab it on your way, and I would say that is kind of rare. Oh yeah, blocks head of the pillar is something that, yep, it's not in a good shape to get through. So just jumping over the roof and waltzing. Okay. So jumping here, and then there's the other balcony to jump. And getting more ammunition to get through. So got to that amphitheatre or animal fighting arena, depending on would you like to use Greek or Roman style of definition or terms. So once again, moving around, that would be a collapsed tunnel. So it would be still getting forward in here. And once more of these big circular tunnels to get through. I wonder, did I already go through this main stage? Yes, I did. This was a quite quick one. Yeah, I'm ending this episode right here. Got through this without much of hassle. So, see ya next time. See ya.